Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Thank you to my newest Patreon supporters, Charles, Clayton, and Max. I greatly appreciate the support. I have to be honest, every time I get the email notification that I have a new patron, it honestly makes my day, so thank you very much. But getting right into it, multiple outlets have been reporting that Giga Shanghai is now hitting an annualized production run rate of 450,000 units per year, or 37,500 units per month. I'm showing you this though because Elon chimed in. It's important to bear in mind that production is as fast as the slowest part out of around 10,000 unique parts in a car. And this tweet sets the tone very well for today's episode because we did just get the July delivery figures for Giga Shanghai. So Tesla sold 32,968 China-made vehicles in July. This includes both domestic sales and exports, and a lot of the headlines, of course, are saying Tesla sales plunge or the sales crash. You know, we should honestly just expect it at that point. But as you'll see in a few minutes, there is no need to fear. We need to look at this data in proper context, which is what we're going to do. As you can see, of that 32,900 figure, 24,347 were for export, meaning they sold roughly 8,621 cars domestically in China. Now, this paragraph right here will show you what is wrong with the mainstream media reporting. They're taking that number for domestic sales this month and saying that Tesla sales are down 69% from 28,138 deliveries in June. But those of us that understand Tesla know that typically the first month of each quarter is a very high export month, so those cars have time to reach their destination in that quarter. And yes, the Reuters article explains what I just mentioned in short form, but why even make the comparison of these 2 months when this is really what we should be comparing? So, as you see here on our very simple chart, we have the domestic sales, not including exports, the exports per month, and then the total out of Shanghai. Model 3 and Model Y are broken down. Sometimes these figures will add up to the total. Sometimes these figures will add up to the domestic sales. It's just changed how they've reported it over the last 6 months or so. And as you can see, the rows that are highlighted in gray are the first month of each quarter. So that makes for a much better comparison than simply month over month. So we would be comparing July to April, and yes, sequentially, these sales domestically would be down about 3,000 units. But look, we have to consider the total. They are now exporting over 10,000 more units comparing April to July. So the total from that first month of the quarter to now, we are still up about 7,000 units. And even looking at month over month, which isn't always the best option, we're still basically right in line. We're going to have fluctuations month to month when it comes to sales data. But the one thing I think many people are going to overlook here is that Elon literally said recently that Giga Shanghai is now going to become Tesla's export hub. But just in case you don't believe me, let's go back to Tesla's Q2 financial report where they say, due to strong US demand and global average cost optimization, we have completed the transition of Gigafactory Shanghai as the primary vehicle export hub. And one of the main benefits of Tesla doing this is now Tesla Fremont can focus more on the local demand where we know demand is very strong. So the simple point here is we should not be surprised by high export numbers, and we should absolutely not simply default to there is no local demand in China because Tesla is already planning to make this an export hub. Now, I will say in the coming months, we definitely do want to watch the domestic sales, especially in the last month of each quarter. So for example, once we get to July, August, and September, we will be comparing September to June, and that will be a much more realistic comparison for what's actually going on in the local Chinese market. And one other thing I want to mention is, in my opinion, it's always good to zoom out and look at the bigger picture because month over month, these numbers are going to be skewed by so many other factors outside of just supply and demand, which of course is part of it, but you have to factor in the chip shortages and Tesla's global strategy. How many cars do they want on the road in Europe before Giga Berlin comes online? And I'm not necessarily arguing for this, but who knows, maybe China wants Tesla to become a major exporter of vehicles. It's always a possibility. And we also have to remember that the June inventory levels for Tesla at Shanghai were very low, which could be a small contributor to these numbers being slightly depressed. But honestly, like I said, for me overall, I'm focusing on this main number, the whole or the aggregate of what is going on at Giga Shanghai, and watching the bigger trends play out over time. But I will definitely be curious to see the domestic sales for both August and September as we compare them to the proper months. And just real quick, in terms of the production numbers for Shanghai, we should get them around the third week of August. Troy for Tesla has about 21.9 Model 3s, 10.6 Model Ys, making for about 32.5 total production figure for July. But of course, these are just his best guess. And we get some news about Tesla updating owners who are awaiting a Model S delivery. One anecdote here from the Kilowatts, they were expecting their long-range Model S in August. They got this notification twice, but now it's been pushed back into November. But here's the message that some Tesla customers are receiving. We're contacting you regarding the timing of your Model S delivery, as we recently updated your Tesla account to reflect the most accurate estimate. You may see a delay with regard to your delivery timeline. We understand this may be disappointing and apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused. Please continue to check your Tesla account for any changes to your timing, which should remain updated to represent our best estimate. Thank you for your ongoing patience, and we look forward to delivering your Model S ASAP. Best regards, the Tesla team. So as you can tell, there's really nothing concrete in there. Tesla is still struggling with timelines for the Model S, and I hate to always default to the chip shortage, but I really think that's causing a lot of havoc because yes, even Tesla is affected to some degree, but if you look at the other automakers, everybody is struggling. It's not just Tesla. And some of you may be aware that even buying a PlayStation 5 has been very difficult over the last few months, which by the way uses very similar chips. It's going for around $800 on eBay. The typical MSRP has been $500. So the supply chain for semiconductors is kind of a mess at the moment. Green the Only gave us a possible update for the new software release and what it includes. We're talking active noise cancellation on the new S and X, improved lane guidance and navigation including voice prompts, but I later read that this navigation update is only for the Chinese market. There also may be new speed and radar locations, traffic light cameras, and bus lane detection as you can see in the images, and also alternate route selection. And I mentioned these in a prior episode, but the mirror auto dim setting that you can turn on or off, the range display showing a percentage or a range total with a simple tap, and the Wi-Fi while in drive mode. And for some reason, this post is trending today in the Tesla Motors subreddit, but this is old news. Now granted, everybody shares old news every now and then, but it's from Electric. Long story short, the new HEPA filter is apparently standard across all Model Y vehicles coming out of Fremont in the US. So in case you missed that news item, there you go. And I was able to find the rest of that video clip that I showed yesterday from Giga Berlin. This was apparently the first camera crew that was ever allowed in the building. This was a few weeks ago as mentioned, but I'll show you the rest of the video. But that's all for today. Please take a second to like the video if you did. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and a big thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.